Hi there, this is Frank Klesitz, and I want to welcome you to this wonderful live hangout for Top Pro Coaching with Carol Mazur. And we have a wonderful guest today here, Erin, who's in the west side of Los Angeles, who's one of our great clients. And we're going to share about her story of how the challenges she was having getting involved with real estate and being successful with that, getting involved with the coaching program, and then finally what they did to be successful. And you're going to hear that on that hangout today, so you can hear the challenges and the and what was used to implement and solve those problems, so you can potentially model that in your business and learn something good. But I'd like to introduce Carol today. She used to be the sales director for a company that did over $1 billion in sales. So she trained their salespeople and helped them out. So she knows what she's talking about when it comes to selling real estate. And on top of that, she's started a success center to help agents become more productive. And I believe that was for Coldwell Banker. Is that correct, Carol?
Yes, that's correct. And now we have it online at topprotraining.com.
Wonderful. So what I'd like to do is to kind of start this off and to kind of get right down to it. Erin, why don't you introduce yourself and maybe just tell us a little bit of what got you into real estate in the first place?
Okay. Hi, my name is Erin Alls. I have been doing real estate virtually my whole life. My parents own real estate all up and down the East Coast, and I've always helped them manage their properties, and eventually I just transitioned into real estate being a broker agent in New York City after being in New York and going to film school and realizing that was not going to pay the bills. And then I went into real estate, and I've been doing it for 13 years now.
Fantastic. All right. So you were originally in New York, and then you decided that you wanted to get in real estate so you could pay the bills.
Yes.
Tell us more about that. And the challenges you faced getting started right away.
Well, I went to this company, and I went to Maison International. They're a French-owned and operated company out of New York, and I've been with them for 13 years, and their business model is really to help internationals get short-term furnished rentals in New York City. And then from there, those clients turn into sales clients. A lot of times after being in the city for a couple months, they decide they want an investment property. And that's kind of how we do it in New York.
Okay. And then you came to LA.
Then I came to LA, and I realized that doing the business model we had in New York was not going to work in LA. The short-term furnished rental market in New York is very lucrative. It's just not as lucrative in LA, and I realized after being here for 2 years that I needed to drastically change what I was doing in order to survive, because otherwise I'd have to pack my stuff up and go back to New York. And that's when I hired Coach Carol.
Wonderful. So when you went to LA, you started in a brand new market without knowing anybody. Is that correct?
That's correct. I was all by my lonesome, and I did not know anybody.
And you went into a very high-end market, I believe that you're in. Is that right?
Yes, very high-end and very competitive. Yes.
Yeah, I would think so.
And no office, Frank. She had her computer, right?
Yes.
And she was doing rentals, and she was running herself ragged with the rentals and not really getting anywhere.
No.
We had to come up with a whole new plan for Erin.
Sure. Well, why don't you tell us, before you hired Carol, what you did and what you started from scratch when you moved to LA, brand new, just got your license and believe in California, they had to have. How did you approach your business initially? Was it just the rental business? And
yes,
then did you try to get some listings, and did you tell us about that?
No, I approached it the same business model that we do in New York, where I was getting some of the furnished rentals. I would actually rent some unfurnished rentals, furnish them, and then re-rent them out at a higher markup for short term, which is what we do in New York. And I thought that maybe a lot of business would come from there, because that's kind of how we do it in New York. We have the short-term furnished rentals. We have owners that have other properties that we end up selling for them, and then we have the people that come in and stay short-term and they decide they want to buy. And I was just solely going on the business model that we do in New York because I didn't know any other way. And after being here for 2 years, and I realized after seeing all the media attention that was on Southern California, because people were waiting in line for condos to open, and condos would sell out in a day or two, I realized I was in the wrong part of the real estate business. I needed to get out of the rentals.
What year was this? What year was that?
That was in 2012. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Great. So you're running yourself ragged in the rental business, and you realize I got to get some listings, but I'm in an extremely competitive market.
Yes, with no office, just working from my kitchen table.
So I'm just curious, what's your I mean, you sold a couple homes this year. Give us the price points of those so people know.
Everything we sold, I mean, I did one deal initially that was 700, but everything after that has been in the $1 million range.
Okay. So you start off and you say, I got to get some listings. I'm running myself ragged with that. What did you do first thing when you decided you need to start selling real estate?
Well, first thing that I did, I had to get some plans in place. And that is where Coach Carol really nailed it home for me and made it very apparent that if you don't have plans and action plans on how to address different clientele, buyers, sellers, you're going to lose. You have to show value to the client, and you can't do that if you don't have any follow-up plans. And I realized even if you make an initial contact with somebody who wants to sell their property and you do one meeting, you have to have the follow-up. Sometimes we get so wrapped up in the everyday business things that we forget the follow-up is really what's important, and it shows value to the client. That you do remember them to remember to contact them in 2 weeks with a phone call or a handwritten letter. You do remember their name, their kids, their dogs. I mean, all these things are very important in landing a listing or landing a client. You have to have an action plan. And that's something that I never knew about before. I was never interested in before until Coach Carol nailed it home for me and said, you need to show value. You need to show that you remember these people's dogs. You need to show that you remember they went to Tahiti last summer. You need to have action plans. You need to have a database. And I didn't have any of this prior to Coach Carol.
Wonderful. So you hired Coach Carol right away when you realized you want to start selling real estate?
Right away. When I realized that I needed to sell the kind of real estate in the market that I was in, I knew I needed help, and I knew I needed somebody who was a professional and successful and a strong woman, and that's when I knew I needed Coach Carol.
Good. So you hired her. Can you tell us about that experience and some of the first things that she implemented for you?
Oh, well, when I first hired her, I wanted to run off out of my house with my hair on fire because Coach Carol was so hardcore with all these different things that I had to get in place. It was a bit overwhelming, and especially coming from somewhere where you don't have plans. And so initially, it was a lot of hard work. It was a lot of hard work to get a database together. It was a lot of hard work to get action plans together, different email action plans, different follow-up plans. It was a lot of work.
Your website?
My website, and trying to determine the type of person that I want to be seen as professionally, trying to get those finite details of who I am and how I can offer service and value to my customers. So trying to determine who I was and who I was going to be as a professional was also very important.
Tell Frank what your core values are.
My core values are dependable, determined, and international. That's what we came up with.
International being key, because tell me a little more about, there's some major players in your market, and Carol mentioned, I believe before we were discussing, that you may not want to take them head on and have your own niche. So let's talk about that positioning that you step back to really think about before you started implementing all of your marketing. I think that's very key. Can you tell us more about that?
Yes, so what I was running into when I was calling brokers or to do co-brokes or calling local owners, they would say, who are you? Where do you come from? They really didn't know my name, and they didn't know who I was or how to separate me from my competition, because my competition is, this gentleman that's been here for a long time and that has a name. And I realized to set myself apart from him, I had to come up with something that shows that I've got something that most people don't have. And what I do have is cash buyers. And all of the deals that I've done so far in the sales have been cash. All of my deals have been cash. So I know that I would be able to separate myself with, number one, I have a very large pool of clientele internationally, since my company in New York is French owned and operated. We've been in business for 25 years, and we have a large roster of international clients that I have that a lot of people don't have. I also have my license in New York and LA. A lot of people don't have that. And I also have a long list of cash buyers, and that's how I separated myself. And I was able to call people and say, hey, I've got cash buyers. I have cash buyers here ready and willing to buy something. What do you got? Are you ready to sell? And that's how I was able to separate myself. And as I said, all the deals that I've done thus far in sales have been cash buyers.
That's great. How did you get those cash buyers? Can you share that with us? Going to an area that you didn't know?
No, can't give those away. No, those are just my clients that I've had that, and some of them just...
You came with the international relationships, or looking for international real estate.
Yes, that's something that we got from our New York office. I mean, we have a large roster. Being in business for 25 years in New York, we've been able to grow our database extensively with buyers, and a lot of times with the
And that was great that was identified up front. That's very key.
Yes.
Yes. So that became then part of all of her marketing materials. Once we did her core values and we found some things. Now, of course, having international cash buyers for New York, we had to come up with a plan to bring them to LA. So one of the things that Erin did, and I'll have her touch on that, is to build a website that was free, okay, because she didn't have the budget at the point. So we created just a free WordPress site, and she'll tell you the name of it and everything else. By building the free WordPress site, she then had to do the things a little bit differently to get her first listing. She couldn't go show somebody's open house from the office. She couldn't put listings on that website. She didn't have IDX on it. She couldn't call the friends in the office and say, can I borrow a few listings and put them on my website? So now that's a pretty big challenge, right? So what Erin did is she went out and she got herself an open listing. And tell her how you were found and how the radio and some of those ads and why you started getting listings on your website, if you don't mind, Erin. I think the audience would want to know.
Sure. So after doing the free WordPress website that Carol coached me on with different keywords and SEO to help me get picked up on the internet, my website, Silicon Beach Luxury Homes, I was able to land an open listing, which is a $5 million home on the beach. And from there, I was able to market it and capture leads from there. And a lot of it had to do with the website, the Silicon Beach Luxury Homes. I was able to be found by the Financial Times, who called me for an interview regarding the Silicon Beach area, which is where Google and Yahoo and all the tech startups are out here in LA, which is where I focus. So I had the Financial Times call me. I had Wired Magazine call me. I did interviews for both of those. And then I also did an on-air radio interview with Spotlight Radio that also wanted to know how I got into the Silicon Beach area. And it just kind of took off from there, and it was all from the free WordPress website and just focusing on the SEOs like Carol instructed me to. It was really amazing to get a free website like that and bring home some business just based on her coaching.
Cool. Would you mind if I share your website? I got a link to it here.
Okay.
Sure.
Here it is. So if anyone wants to know, this is right. Is this correct, Erin?
Yes, that's it.
So this is a site, very simple with all your properties, and as you scroll down, you get to see who you are, and this is your free site, free WordPress site, right?
That's right, free. It was free, and it helped me get a lot of listings.
Cool, that's great.
So no IDX, think of it, right? No IDX. Putting listings on there, getting found by Financial Times to take listings, the radio interviews, and then let's see, the next thing that Erin did is social media. So why don't you tell them a little bit about that, about how you would share the website to your social media, things like that.
Yes, so my social media is a big part of my business. On Twitter, I have 12,000 plus followers, and that is a huge part of my business because I do a lot of hashtagging and a lot of links back to the Silicon Beach Luxury Homes website. A lot of photos. People we're really heavy into Facebook, but Twitter is really, again, Twitter is free. And I just built a lot of contacts. I got one of my escrow officers off of Twitter. I just built a lot of contacts from Twitter with the hashtagging and the links back to my Silicon Beach Luxury Homes, showing the listings that we have, the open houses. I've had people come to my open houses from Twitter. It's free advertising. Social media has really propelled my business unbelievably. It's all free, and it's just done wonders for me.
Great. Is there anything else that you did? You had the free website, started posting things on Twitter and following anyone else. Any other digital strategies that you can share with the audience that worked well for you?
Besides doing the everyday Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, social media, no. I mean, it was...
You did the links back to your website on the postcards with
yes.
really strong calls to action.
Yes, the postcards were a big thing too.
Okay. Do you have an example of those postcards in your room you can show us?
I do have an example, not right here, but it's just a postcard that says, "Find out your house value now. It's fast, free, and secure." And it goes to one of my other websites that I think I paid, I don't know, it was very cheap. I don't know. How much was it, Carol? like
one-time fee of $100.
$100 website that I paid, and it's lainstantHouseValue.info. And we just sent out postcards to my local farm, and people would start inputting their information, their addresses, and I would get the information and call them immediately. And it really set a name for myself. People now see me, they're like, oh, you're the girl from the postcards, because I sent out these postcards all the time. And besides the social media, that has been another big lead generator, is the postcards.
And
Great.
she also does events, like if they have the neighborhood events, if you're going to farm to a neighborhood and do the Every Door Direct, which of course, as you know, it's very inexpensive to do the Every Door Direct. She's able to, for 15 cents a postcard, send out this, gigunda-sized postcard that everybody likes so that they can be recognized. Tell them about the event that you held in your neighborhood that you were part of and what you did there.
Yeah, I was a part of the Marina Fest, because I live right in Marina Del Rey, and they had an event in May. It's called the Marina Fest, and I had a little booth there, and we handed out free snow cones and the postcards, the LA Instant House Value postcards, and some pens and some Maison International bags. And I've had a lot of people come up to me and say, "Oh my God, I remember you. I see your photo on the postcards." And I had a lot of recognition from that, so it was nice that they could kind of meet me in the flesh. They took the postcard, they got a free snow cone, and it was nice that people actually recognized me from the farm, from my postcards. It was validation in everything that Carol was saying. It validated right then in that moment. I knew, it works. Everything that Carol told me to do and I followed through on had worked.
Wonderful. Anything else, Carol?
So let's see. I really did put her to work. I have to say, this is not the type of, I don't do, what do you call it, like contracts. They don't have to sign a contract in my coaching. So you can leave or go at any time. So basically, we also had her set up an expired program in this 1 year that I've been coaching her, where, she did so well. She really did a lot of work. Not only did she create the flyers and everything else that match the postcards, that match everything on the website. In other words, it's integrated. Everything is integrated. But if you're the agent doing the integration, it can be stressful, right? Because you have to learn how to do this and learn how to do that. Then you have to integrate your messages in Top Producer database, which is also Top Producer. If you don't know how to use Top Producer, it's just a bear. But luckily, we have a lot of these systems already pre-written, so she actually put the systems in herself, where you can hire a VA. We have VAs on our team, where we don't accept any type of affiliate fees. So when we recommend something, we're not making any type of commission on it. It has to be proven by Top Producers to work. Therefore, when you ask Top Producers what database do they use, they'll either tell you Infusionsoft, $200 to $500 a month, and then like $10,000 to set up, or Top Producer, mainly because you can automate that first action. So yes, it is work to set it up, but now, Erin, tell them how you used it, like for your customers, as far as the buyer email automations, and also tell them how, when you were negotiating offers, how you were able to stay in touch with the agents.
Right. So the great thing about Top Producer is when I was holding open houses for the properties that I was selling, at the end of the day, I would send out the flyer on the property to all the brokers that came to the open house, and I would say, I have received X amount of offers. If you guys want to put in something, please let me know. Here's a follow-up. Here's, again, the listing and the price and the pictures and the link back to my website, but I've already received one offers, and I could send that directly from Top Producer, because when you input the contact in Top Producer, you input it as a business contact or somebody who attended an open house. So it was just very easy. Just click and send, and then the automated plans on expired, which send out an email to somebody and then remind you a day when you need to call them, or remind you to go directly to their house. These kinds of things I would never be able to do without the prompting of Top Producer, because there's no way I can remember all of that. There's just no way.
Yeah. So some of the messages that she's sending out in Top Producer also are more kicked up to drive traffic, right?
Yes.
So we do try to put some offers in there. They're very short emails as far as in Top Producer. It's not the old long templates that that people have to spend a lot of time on. They're kind of more designed to be questions and answers. So if you're doing any type of a follow-up, I find where agents get stuck is if they're doing something like a constant contact. You remember that Erin said dependability and things like this. So I knew this would work for Erin because those are some of her core values, to be dependable and determined and follow through. Whereas I'm not going to give that type of training to somebody who is more, hit and run type of person, because that would kind of drive them crazy. We'd kind of have to have someone set up their database for them. But she was able to do it all herself because every message was important to her. And that gave her time then when her buyer systems, like say for example, a buyer lead comes in and they simply get a message from Erin, it looks like she's talking to them. So we'll have like an immediate text within the first 60 seconds. Thanks for visiting the website. Can I help you find anything? Right? Do you want to look at houses this week? Little different things like that. Then she'll send them an email. Same thing with a strong message where it looks like you're really just chatting with them. That's the type of service people want today. And then she'll do the call. So it's like a triple type of thing. It's text nowadays, it's call, and an email. And to get all of that automated, like I said, we can use different systems, and it does take step by step to kind of get it done. So it is very difficult for an agent today to they'll all buy Top Producer and then they get rid of it because they don't know how to work it. But that's sort of like getting a jet plane given to you, but you just sell it for $1 because you just don't see the value in it because you don't know how to fly it. So my advice would be, if you don't have that type of patience that Erin has, to go ahead and have a virtual assistant set up all of your action plans for you and then simply automate them and you'll be good to go.
Wonderful. Yeah, the action plans are great in Top Producer. You log in every day and it tells you who to call and who to follow up with. And if you have mailings where it's like a sequential mailing, it tells you what to mail and to who that very day.
Right, it's great.
It's great.
So what are some of the things you're working on now that you need to improve in your business, Erin?
Well, right now the big thing is the office, a brick and mortar office, which I have been working on, and we'll finally open the LA office in mid-January, which is like the biggest thing ever in my life because I've been working from my kitchen table. And then, of course, buyer's agents. So we have hired 2 additional buyer's agents that will start with us in January. And that's another big throw my hands in the air because I never thought in a million years that I would be at this point now. But we're here, and we're glad to be here. And I just want to say, Coach Carol, her systems and her coaching has changed my life. That's hands down the truth. And I don't know if I'd be here where I am right now without her. And I'm going to cry because that's the way I feel.
Oh, don't do that. Jeez. Oh, no. Jeez, Frank, what did you ask her? Blame you.
Well, for anybody watching, we got a nice little Q&A app here, so feel free to ask a question. It'll show up here on the right. And we can ask Erin or we can ask Carol that question here on the Hangout. Where do you see your business heading, let's say, in the next 5 years? What would you like your perfect life or your perfect business to be, Erin?
In the next 5 years, I'd like to be one of the main listers in ultimate goal is, and I don't want to
technical difficulty.
Sound bad,
it's a secret.
But I want to beat our per year. That is my goal.
Erin, you're on a wireless connection, aren't you?
No.
No?
No.
We got a little interference from you. We didn't catch that there, but that's okay.
Oh, sorry.
Say
about
that one more
that.
time. Yeah, you're back. You're back in now. Why don't you go ahead and tell the audience again where you'd like your business to be in 5 years? Say exactly what you just said.
Okay, so in 5 years, and I don't want to bring any competitions on, but I would like to be the main lister, the main listing agent for Marina Del Rey, and I would also like to beat my New York office in Maison International, New York. I would like to beat them in revenues. That's my goal. I'm going to beat the New York office. That's where I see myself.
Okay. So, Carol, what does she have to do to get there? What are you going to be working with her on to be able to get that goal in 5 years?
Team building, of course. She's just hired 2 new. We've already started, actually. One is the vision. once you have the vision and a clear path of where you're going, it's really just the steps to get there. So I find that that is the biggest difference. If I'm coaching somebody and they can't see the vision, it's very hard for me to get them there. As long as you can create that goal and see yourself in it, then then the next steps are easy. So basically, we've already started. She's needed contracts to for her team members, right? Hiring the new team members. She needed ads originally to find them. So we've just been going through step, and the wonderful thing is top producers are so nice about sharing what works. They're always, I'm in a lot of like the Boomtowns, Commissions Inc., Real Geeks. We love those guys over there at Real Geeks. We're in a lot of those different private masterminds, and they're always sharing great ideas. So when we're able to focus, I know when I was an agent for like 25 years, it's difficult when people are saying to you, do this and do that, but it's really because they want to make money off you. For example, if somebody's selling a certain product, they're going to tell you, don't use anybody else's product. It doesn't work. You need to use my product. And that's great marketing, right? The problem with that is, as an agent, I found it's very, very confusing. They're saying this doesn't work, but this works, and don't call anybody that you don't know. Only work with your sphere. Well, that would be difficult for Erin since she didn't have a sphere out there, right? So then what does she do? Not do business? So, and then other people will say, oh, you don't need to have all those databases in place. Just, it's a numbers game. Just pick up the phone and dial the next thing. Well, today in the real estate business, things that used to work, we really need to do everything. And if you look at a top producer, they do everything. They've got their databases in place. They have all their value offers. They've got their flyers. They call people they don't know. They prospect. Oops, sorry about that. Hold on. Sorry.
That's good, Erin. She is right. I run a lot of circles where, people are pitching things that they really have a stake in, and not full disclosure. And there's, believe me, man, it's almost like in the real estate space, people are being traded around for money of where you can send things with all the affiliate deals and whatnot. And that speaks highly to Carol about that, which is fantastic.
Right.
Yeah.
Yes. That's the good thing about being a top pro member, is that we share different plans that have been tested and worked. So that's the other really great thing about being part of Carol's group, is that I'm interacting with top producers all over the country that share their plans that have been tested by them personally. And I could not get that anywhere else. Just can't.
That's great. So if you could sum up your experience with Carol, how would you say if you had to sum it up?
Very difficult, but very rewarding. Just because the work to get where I am has not been easy, and it has been a lot of long nights from 7 to 7 days in and out, 7 days a week. It has not been easy, but now that I'm here, and I just don't know where I would be without her. I just don't. I really don't. It's well worth it. It's been difficult, but very, very worth it.
Wonderful. So, Carol, why don't you sum up again the type of client that you're looking for and how someone can get a hold of you?
The type of person that I'm looking for is ready to get to the next level, very serious about getting there, because, again, Erin's had to learn how to build a website, SEO, how to work her database, how to get listings, how to create good offers and things like that. She's just had to do so much of the groundwork every single week. But if you are determined, in my day of selling real estate, it took you 20 and 30 years to get to where Erin is going. And now, with the online presence, with the social media, with understanding that everything needs to be done, it's not this or that anymore. You do need a database, and you do need to call people. So I do love all of the other coaches, whether it's, a Haas Pratt with For Sale by Owners, or any of the, the Mike Ferry scripts. I love them. I love all of the other coaches, the Buffini, as far as what to drop by. It's just that we pull the best of what they offer, and we use that in our coaching. So whatever the top producers are using from Buffini or Mike Ferry or just any of these online systems and SEO, these automated systems that are like call features now, and texting automation, all of these cutting edge instant house value, Facebook ads. We just use all of the best, and then we're a discount club. So if you want to be in our club and offer a discount, in other words, for example, remember when I spoke to you, Frank, you said that for our clients, what you would do, and I received nothing for referring. Remember I said I cannot accept any affiliate fees or anything. But if you want to offer us a little extra special microphone or a little special something for the people who would like to do video marketing, because this video marketing already I can tell by the response I'm getting in my email, the traffic that has been driven to my website, they're all filling out the instant business plan downloads. I'm seeing these downloads all over the place. So I have to say, this is my first experience with you. It's been wonderful. It's been great. You're driving traffic, you're doing the job, and I haven't even done it the right way where, you know, the next time I'll have all the emails sent out right and everything else. And the same thing for Erin. I'm sure this is going to be helping her get more clients who want to list and sell to international cash buyers, somebody who's tech savvy with 11,000, 12,000 followers on Twitter. That can actually reach the entire world. You know, she has her company that puts her in touch with international cash buyers, and she's able to funnel them into the LA area. So I would say that anybody that would want to list or sell with Erin, it's just a whole nother world, and she has worked extremely hard every week to get this tech savvy. If I was selling my home, I would definitely hire someone like Erin who has learned all of this really difficult technology.
Wonderful.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
All right, guys, we're going to go ahead and end it there. I want to thank everyone for attending, and if you subscribe to the Google Plus page here, you'll get updates of future events. I believe you can do it right up here on the upper left or the upper right, depending how I display on the page. And we look forward to doing these continually every month going forward to learn what's working in real estate so you can increase your production and live the life that you want by selling and buying houses or helping people buy and sell houses. So thank you, everybody.
Thanks for